Hi again then guys, and welcome to another throwback style custom build for Gran Turismo 6, and like with the DB7 LM race car that we built kind of as an homage to Gran Turismo 2's DB7 LM race car, this is also a throwback to that Gran Turismo 2 era. Now on that game there were a number of special versions of the RX-7, including A-Spec models with different front ends. There was also an A-Spec LM race car, and that is the build that we're doing here. Now there are of course a couple of RX-7 race cars that you could use to make this build from. You can get the right specs from them, but I personally chose to use the premium road-going version, the newest model that costs 40,000 credits, because that LM race car actually looks fairly similar to the road version. It just has livery. That's the only major visual difference. So likewise, I wanted this car to look similar to stock, but also as an homage, of course, to that LM race car. Now, as far as the visuals go, I fitted it with Ray's 57 Gainer wheels. They come in blue anyway. And as far as the body, I've gone for UV blue, which is a metallic blue that comes from the Mitsubishi Eclipse GT. Now, I haven't painted the brakes. I would usually paint them black. You could do that, or you could just go for a different colour. It's totally up to you. And for the rest of the visuals, it's fairly stock. I have fitted the flat floor, and of course that is very important to note, because it totally changes the PP level and notably changes the handling. As far as the body kits, wings, I haven't upgraded those. I've left those completely stock for the reasons that I mentioned earlier. So that's it for the visuals. The car was available in two colours, both blue and green. I would have liked to have done the green version, but although colour-coded wheels aren't necessarily important, I would have liked to have done that with the green car. So because of the fact that we don't have those green wheels available, I went for blue instead to get that kind of old-school throwback look. But by all means go for the green if you want to. I do personally prefer the green version. So we'll next go through, of course, the mechanical side of things to both replicate the specs of that car, but also update its ability to the modern GT6 game, and then, of course, take it out on a track, Laguna Seca in particular, to see what it can do. Now, I would have liked to, if at all possible, have rounded this car off to 600 pp. That would have been perfect. Unfortunately, though, the closest you can get while retaining the right specs is 597. That's even with the flat floor. So, unfortunately, you can't. I opted then to do 595 just to round it off. Now, I've gone for racing hard tyres, as you can see. Some may consider that to be kind of overkill. It's down to personal preference. I wanted it to look authentic with those slick tyres. Again, it's down to what you need or want. Brakes, of course, we've gone for racing. Likewise with suspension. Down as far as ride height, I've gone as low as possible, front and rear. Springs have increased a fair amount to 875 and 9. Dampers to 5, anti-roll to 4. I haven't fitted any camber on this car, mainly in the name of manoeuvrability. It just is lighter on its feet without camber. And I've gone for neutral toe as usual. If you want to have some camber or toe, of course, that's down to you. There's nothing wrong with that. We'll come back to the gearbox in just a second. As far as the diff, as always, if you already know what works better for you than this, by all means go for that or mess around. But I've gone for halfway, as you can see on initial torque, then for acceleration and braking as low as possible. That results in handling which turns in very well, very smoothly. It's smooth through the corner, there's very little oversteer at all, but you get a little bit of understeer once you give it the beans out of a corner. So if that sounds like it's your kind of style, then by all means go for it. That works for me, but of course some people prefer a car that's more tail happy. As far as power, the older vehicle from Gran Turismo 2 has 542 horsepower, so we do have an oil change. I've gone, as you can see, for everything that increases the red line of the car. So the Stage 3 engine tune, computer, exhaust, the manifold doesn't, the cat does though, the intake doesn't either, and the high RPM turbo. You don't necessarily have to fit all of those things. You could fit less if you want to and then have the power limiter higher, but the PP level will be a little bit lower. So it depends what you want. That's not a bad thing. Having the same specs at a lower PP is a good thing. So it's down to you. I just wanted to round it off. And then as far as weight, the older vehicle weighs 1,050 kilos, so you want the full weight loss package, but without the bonnet. You could go for that if you want to. It doesn't really make much of a difference. You'll just have to adjust the ballast to get it to 1050 again. But the main reason why I didn't do that is because, of course, you get the bonnet pins, and the old school LM race car doesn't have those. So that's the only reason why I didn't. Then I added 6 kilos of ballast to bring us up to that weight, which I incidentally put all the way to the back of the car, which doesn't really make much of a difference, so you don't have to do that if you don't want to. Finally, for the gearbox, I would recommend an auto setting of 205, then individual gear settings of 3, 2, 1475, 1150, 925 and 775 with a final drive of 4. Now, it's not a top speed tune, especially not with the flat floor fitted, but if you do need a little bit longer gearing, perhaps maybe for drafting, that kind of thing, then of course extend that final drive a little bit lower and you'll be able to do that. But that's it for the mechanical build overall, and although it is technically a replica of a fictional vehicle, there is still plenty of room for personal variation thrown in there as well. So all that remains, of course, is to take it out to a racetrack to see what it can do. Now, of course, the handling on this car is not only going to be different because it's a road car compared to a race car, but also because, of course, the game is far newer. We're almost, well, around 2 decades away from when this car was featured on the game. So, of course, it's going to feel totally different. However, what it does share in common with that A-Spec LM race car is how quick it is. This is a seriously rapid road car, especially for its power. It's easy to underestimate vehicles which don't have really big numbers, but the RX-7 is one of those vehicles, not just in terms of engine capacity, which is typical of rotaries, but it goes beyond those numbers and can actually beat cars with significantly better on-paper spec because of how good it actually is. So, if you decide to use this build, I hope you have a lot of fun with it as a nice little throwback to Gran Turismo 2 and 1. And, of course, if you'd like to check out other tunes like this on the channel, there are plenty more in the playlist. But for now, as always, thanks for watching.